So you know how I go on and on about, how we should focus on quality blue chip names. You're probably sick of hearing that by now. But full disclosure, this video is one of those companies. However, the future potential is massive and it's probably one of the easiest investments right now in the stock market. And what I did today, guys, is kind of out of the norm for what I typically do with my portfolio. I actually sold out of a stock today and I doubled down really on one of my existing positions, and I'm going to disclose both of those stocks in this video. So check this out. This company that I bought, according to my fairly conservative estimates, should hit or get pretty darn close to $1 trillion in revenue by the end of 2025. That's less than 5 years from now. It's a monster business and is expected to exceed 20% growth this year. And honestly, I think it could actually hit mid to high 20s, possibly even hitting 30% growth this year. And kind of the cherry on top is that this business, I think, will continue growing for a very long time because they're making big bets today to kind of plant the seed for future growth, and we'll discuss that briefly as well later on. Amazon is this stock, guys. It's a pretty unanimous consensus here that this is a strong buy with over a $4,100 price target in the next 12 months from analysts. The more bullish analysts here sees it as over $5,000 per share in this time period, and while I think that's a little bit too soon to see this, you never really know. Amazon does have that capability, and in the next few years, there's no doubt in my mind that it's going to surpass $5,000 per share. By the way, the platform I use for these analyst information is called TipRanks. Link description down below if you want to sign up. So I want to be completely transparent. In my VIP group, I've kind of hinted back and forth that I've been wrestling with the idea of buying more Amazon. I keep saying it's a great value. It's amazing business, tons of future potential, tons of growth. I keep lumping it in with Facebook as one of the best big tech plays to buy right now. However, when I took some time to look at my existing portfolio, I was a bit disappointed in myself. Sure, I bought into the stock a few years ago and I'm up over 200% on this position, whoop-de-doo, but it's a very small position in my portfolio, sitting at just around 1%. When I started buying into Amazon, it was a much larger position. A lot of stuff happened back in the day. I hit a stop loss, I sold off 80% of my Amazon position. And ever since then, I've never actually used stop losses. That's a story for another time. But because of that, I never really got back into Amazon and built that position up over the years. And there's been many times where I wish, hey, I bought more. Like when it was at around $1,700 or so, about a year and a half ago. It was there for a while and I was like, oh, this is pretty good value for Amazon. Should I buy? Should I buy? Never ended up buying, and boom, now we're over $3,000 per share. And I'm in that same state once again. Should I buy? Should I buy? I don't know. But this time, I'm gonna do things differently. This time, I am gonna buy. But to make that happen, I really needed to shift a few things around in my portfolio. Namely, I had to sell out of one of my existing stocks to kind of raise more capital to buy into Amazon. Now in Canada, unfortunately, we don't have fractional shares, so I have to buy full $3,100 shares of Amazon here if I want to build it up. And to make that happen, I had to sell out of my Pepsi position today, ticker symbol PEP. I have liquidated that position completely, and I will be using all, or if not most of that capital towards Amazon shares because I'm just so bullish on this. Now, before you go around saying, hey, Nick, what you always preach about how Pepsi is an amazing company, why would you sell it? Let me explain here. Pepsi is an amazing company. I still love the company. And what I actually did a few weeks ago was I bought a ton of Pepsi shares in my retirement account. So I have massive exposure to Pepsi already. And I figured, you know what, this portfolio that I really focus on a daily and weekly basis is more of a growth-centric portfolio. I'm willing to take more risk in this portfolio. And having Pepsi in there just didn't cut it anymore. I was looking at the projections of what I believe Pepsi can do in the next year or two. I think Pepsi can probably return around 20% or so on my capital in the next couple of years. But in that same time period, Amazon can probably return 30%, possibly even 40%. So it's just too good of an opportunity here to pass up on. So what I did, guys, I did sell out of all of my Pepsi today, And I have started buying into Amazon. I'm going to average in over probably a day or two. I've already doubled my allocation in Amazon. It's around 2.1% now, and I want to grow that much larger because I just want to show you that my conviction in this is extremely high. Also, one of the big reasons I held Pepsi is because of the stability that it gave my portfolio. And I think Amazon, funny enough, even with the growth, is also a fairly stable company. I don't think Amazon's going anywhere. I think that, the stock price stays relatively stable despite volatility in the markets, and I'm fine holding this one, even if it does add a bit more risk in my portfolio, because like I said, the reward potential is much more. Right now, Amazon sits at just over a 4 current price to sales, which is a bit on the higher end historically for the company, because it tends to average around a 3 price to sales. However, if I look at my projections for the end of 2021 on a fairly conservative basis, we are expected to get at around a 3 price to sales by the end of this year, and by the end of next year, we're going to be well below a 3, implying that at worst, I'm paying a few months out here for a reasonable valuation in this business. This is not bad at all, considering the monster growth that I'll be getting with this company, the stability that I'm getting, the future potential for capital appreciation that I'm getting. I think it's a kind of a no-brainer investment. Now remember, right now Amazon is really heavily focused on AWS and their Amazon.com e-commerce platform. These are pretty much the 2 main parts of the business that everyone knows about. But Amazon is planting seeds right now, guys, to be big in so many more sectors in the future. As you guys know, they bought Whole Foods, and I think their efforts with grocery is going to be massive in the next few years. They also are big on drones. They're going to use this for deliveries in the future. Autonomous cars, they bought Zook, so this is something that they want to actually play a big role in the future. Healthcare is something they're looking at with PillPack, pharmacy offerings. And then recently they actually announced Amazon Care with telehealth, which they're actually going to start offering to other companies as well. And there's many more ventures that they're working on too. And I think overall Amazon is just laying the groundwork today. They're trying a whole bunch of things. And I do believe that a few of these are going to stick and become massive billion-dollar parts of their business, and it's just going to justify a much larger valuation for the company in about 5 years. And looking 5 years out, not unrealistic to say that this company could be a $5 trillion giant. So I know, kind of a bold claim here because it's at 1.5 trillion today. 5 years doesn't seem that far out, but I think the market is severely overlooking this stock. There's just so much money to be made in this company here that I'm not missing out on it again. So while, I'm a little bit sad that I had to let go of Pepsi, one of my favorite blue chip names, like I said, I still have exposure in my retirement account, so I'm still okay. And honestly, I'm just more excited about having Amazon here as a bigger position in my portfolio. I want to bring it up to hopefully the top 10, possibly even, top 5 or 7 or so. We'll see how much allocation I put into it. But regardless, guys, the bottom line here is that I believe Amazon will be easily a $4,000 plus stock in the next year or two, easily a $5,000 plus stock in the next 2 to 3 years, and most likely a much larger company in the future. You don't always have to go out there and take massive risks to have good returns on your investments. And I think Amazon and Facebook, 2 big tech companies that are perfect examples of this, that are just, handing us an opportunity on a silver platter saying, hey, do you want our stock? It's pretty cheap today. And after the Fed announcement today, we're already starting to see how these stocks are reacting positively. And I'm going to go on my notion to say that big tech is probably going to have a good year in 2021. FYI, if you bought into Facebook over my last few videos, congrats. It's breaking out now, and I think $300 per share is just around the corner. $350 per share, I think, is probably going to be seen very soon as well. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments. Are you bullish on Amazon? Heck, are you bullish on Facebook as well? Let me know. Love to hear from you, and love to hear any insights you have to share as well. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to invest positively, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.